Welcome back again. Now, check for palindromes. A palindrome is a word that reads the same forward and backward. For example, madam, ma'am, etc. Then a sentence can be a palindrome if the space is removed. For example, was it a car or a cat I saw? So if you look at this, was it a car or cat I saw? If you look at it backward, it's still the same thing. But you have to remove the what? The spaces. Is this understood? Okay, good. Now, the question now states, with that, have the question been asked? No, it's just an information. So you don't start typing. It is just an information. Write a function, check palindrome. So we need to write a function. So to write a function, we write def, right? Then check palindrome. Okay, palindrome. That, what does it say? Accepts a string as a what? Parameter. So let me call the parameter weight. Converts the string to lower, so that because if it's upper, it may not be the same any longer. Then I write that word is equal to word dot lower. I hope you understand this now. If you don't save to word, then you cannot access that lowercase. It still remains uppercase. Now, check if the string is a what? Palindrome. Now, to check if the string is a palindrome, I can just write that if word is equal to word full column minus 1. I can write this. This means that if you reverse the word and is equal to the original word, but there's going to be a problem. What is the problem? The space. Because if you reverse, the space will not make it a palindrome. So what are we supposed to do first? Remove the space. So there are several methods of removing the space that you guys have shown in your code. Several methods, and all the methods are correct. Let's take a look at the methods. Number 1. So the first method is to split this, isn't it? To split it with what? With space. Then I write word is equal to word dot split. So that this splits the sentence or the string wherever there is a what? There is a space. And after splitting, then you do what? Then you join together. Is that understood? Then you write what? Word, isn't it? Is equal to what? Empty quotation dot what? Dot join word. With this, then you join together. Is that understood? So this is one way of removing the space and getting back your string without a space. Another way is to, do I need to print this? Right? It can, let me print it. So print word, okay. Then after printing word, then I can call check palindrome with an example of Madam Adam to see if the space was what? Was successfully removed. So if you run this code now, then you can see the space was removed and the words have been joined together. Is that understood? Another way of removing the space again is if you try to use replace, isn't it? So instead of split, you wrote word is equal, isn't it? Is equal to what? Word dot replace. Replace space with what? With nothing. There's another way. So this is saying that replace all the space with what? With nothing. That is another line of code, which is also perfect because it's a line of code. Okay. So if you want this word, this line of code now, Then what should you have? Then you have madam, madam. So this code is better than the previous one. Why is it better? Because it is just one line of code. The other one is two lines, but both are doing the same and both are correct. Is that understood? Then another thing we can also, so with this, we can now work with word. Is that understood? Now with this, then to check if it is palindrome, then let me clean this. All the spaces have been removed. So let's go back to the question. Check if the string is a what? Is a palindrome. So now that I've removed the space, then I can now write reverse is equal to word full column minus 1, isn't it? Then what have I done? I'm supposed to use a square bracket and not a curly bracket. Okay. Then word is the original string without a space, isn't it? And reverse is what? Is the reverse string. Then I write if what? If word is equal to reverse. Then return what? Palindrome. Else return what have I to return if it's not not a palindrome, isn't it? If returns not a palindrome, not a palindrome. I hope this is well understood. This is another way of doing it. Then the next thing is now saying write the main program. Then you go out of the function, isn't it? You go out of the function to do what? You request an input from the user. So to request an input from the user, and that is user is equal to input. Please enter the word. Well, what is the next thing to be done? Call what? Check palindrome, isn't it? So will it return anything? Yes, it returns something. So I can save it to a variable, right? Is equal to check palindrome, right? Am I passing anything? Pass what? The input as the argument, not parameter. Okay, then that should be user. Is that understood? Then what is next thing? Display the return value with a what? Suitable message. So I can write print the input you entered is either is a palindrome or what? Or not a palindrome, isn't it? Then I write var because var will either return palindrome or will return what? Not a palindrome. I hope this is understood. Then what is the next thing? Then we have to test your program. Hope everyone is following me. So when you test this program, the first input is madam. The input you enter is palindrome. What is the next input? A Santa at NASA. A Santa at NASA is palindrome. What is the next input? Hello. Hello is not a palindrome. Is that understood? And so on. I hope this is well understood. So the most difficult part of this is how to remove the space. If you can remove the space, then everything should be easy. Is that understood? So you have to think of how to remove the space. You have to think of how to. Another way, like I said earlier, is what? Is to split into an array and reverse the list. Do you understand? Okay, good. Yes, you can use a for loop. That is a very long method. It will take you time. Yeah, it's a very long method because you have to write a for loop to remove each of the spaces. Yes. So, like I said, if the question says write a code to remove the space, you cannot use this place. You have to write a for loop to remove the spaces by yourself. Do you understand? If the question has said write a code to remove the space in a string, but this question does not say write a code to remove the space. It just says write a function that accepts string, converts string, check if it is a palindrome. So you're only writing a code to check if it is a what? Palindrome. So it is your own responsibility to what? To remove the space. Just remove the space anyhow. Whether using what? The replace function, whether using a what? A for loop, everything is accepted. Do you understand? So do it the way you are comfortable with. So this is how to remove the space manually, okay, without using the replace function. So what this is that you declare what? A list, an empty list. Then you try to put your string into that list, but only excluding the what? The spaces. Do you understand? So it's what that for character in space, that means character with what? With in word. It will take each of the value in what? In word. So it's now saying if that value is not what? Is not equal to space, add it to what? To this list. That means if it is a space, it will not be added. After the list has been populated, then the list is what? Is reversed and compared. So this is how to remove the space manually. So that was what he did. Good. So if you look at this, when we test this, wait, Madam, Adam, then this give the input is what? Palindrome. So we've done different methods now, isn't it? How to use the replace, how to use what? The split and join, and how to also what? To remove the space manually. Is this understood, everyone? Okay, thank you.